I don't agree with Raila at all on trying to amend the constitution. I don't agree with Ruto on trying to amend the constitution. First, to amend the constitution of Kenya to oversee it, people must trust you. And this government lost trust long time ago. You cannot trust those two people, Raila Odinga and William Ruto, to oversee an implementation or even review of the constitution. Either they resign and we form a transition government, or they just go home in 2027 to get another administration that can be trusted, even with changing a letter. Because I can tell you, NADCO was not implemented because there were some things in NADCO which needed a referendum. Now they want to cheat Kenyans that they want us to go to a referendum to really reduce the counties. When that time comes, they'll insist again those counties remain, and then they'll slip through what was in article in that amendment. Mark my word, that's what will happen. We know these people, the two brothers that they are good brothers to each other, but they're not good brothers to Kenya. So the point I'm trying to say today is that, first of all, on the issue of compensation, our position as the People's Restorative Justice Commission is that this is not the right way to do things, because justice comes before compensation. And I believe that maybe that is the argument. People believe that why do you wait to get justice when compensation might take forever? But I believe that that is the way to go. There's a lot of things going on. So we wrote a statement that these things of trying to compensate these victims with this blanket statement from the president is like actually trying to cover up, also trying to get some data from these people, and also compromising them actually for justice. So I know that you might say, let's just compensate them because they are suffering. But once they've been compensated, you might realize that justice may not be done. And also, if there are people who committed crimes against them, there's a police who shot, there's a police who hit, there's someone who injured them. Why should the state use taxpayers' money to beat and injure taxpayers through police brutality, and then use the same money to bury them, then let use that money to compensate their children and families? I don't understand that logic, but I leave it at that. Our statement is that this is not the way to go. And maybe there's just a way that the president has to be more honest about what happened and the orders which were being given by his officers in broad daylight. And these people needs to be taken through command responsibility. You gave a command, but somebody killed. When a chef gives orders that you put poison by the cook, both the cook and the chef must actually be put to book. So the second thing I want to talk about is something I had, and I'm sure I've had Dr. Nyikalo was talking here. I had very many people talking from the Ministry of Health on UHC. UHC cannot succeed under this government because if you look at two things that are killing UHC are two: corruption and incompetence. And you mentioned facts. When the CS is Aden Duale and has no competence in health and has been one of the most corrupt CSs, look, he's above $1 billion now, word when he joined government. What are we expecting to get there? So the UHC structure is grossly corrupt structure and was founded in incompetence and founded in gross corruption. As you see, SHA was never meant to do anything well. They said that they were bringing SHA to remove NHIF, to remove cartels, but they have just brought their own cartels. So nothing is going to happen there. On incompetence side is Duale is not qualified to run the Ministry of Health. I know that it was passed by Parliament. There are some MPs here do I respect. But we have seen Duale from where he moves to the other, there's just chain of non-performance. And the PS Olunga, I've studied this CV, I've studied the CV of those people. The main problem in UHC to execute is financing, health financing. And I don't see any strong health economist anywhere near these people. So we need a very sound health economist. If I was president, I would ensure either the CS or the PS is a health economist. And with that would help us to even understand what's going on in UHC. I'll leave it at that point. Now, the second point I just want to highlight, because I had my brother Hilary Sigay talking about, was this matter of impeachment. Dabal, what was the issue of bringing Governor Eric Mutai to be impeached? And if we were looking at violation in terms of corruption in the county, how do you determine that by voting? And if the MPs could not see that there was glaring corruption in that county and they voted to save him, the Senate that is, then I even have problem with that Senate. And the problem now is not even now the Governor Eric Mutai. The problem is that Senate. If somebody has presented evidence, then talk about technicalities of not impeaching a thief. Technicalities of not impeaching someone who has not done anything for his county. Then I had Senator Sigay saying, let us give him a chance to continue helping his people. No, a wolf is a wolf. A wolf will never save the sheep. So I wonder what the senators were doing. Then, what role should the Senate be doing to save a senator impeached by MCs? Senators, some of them come from places they have never been to Kericho. Do they know how the people of Kericho are suffering to save a wolf who is hurting them? I've been to Kericho. Go to the Kericho on the ground, they'll tell you. Like, people think it's a joke. Why I was settling, I was all the way in Laikipia. I've been in Laikipia since Friday until now, because I know that I told you the Val, and maybe even Governor Kivuta is here. I am trying to present my candidate as people of Kenya, so I'm meeting them, having conversation with them, listening to them. What are the issues that are involved? And you hear it. These people are not happy. County government is grossly corrupt and grossly incompetent, and it's seen in all counties so far. It is just a grand corruption. So whatever you say, you can just say whatever you want. Now, let me go now to the last segment. I want to talk about the implementation of the Constitution. The problem is not even like I had the other speaker speaking before, saying that the devolution was not budgeted for. The problem was that the drafters of the Constitution were majorly lawyers, and there was no economist to model the financial implication of implementing this Constitution. If you look at them, they were just copy pasting from somewhere. And now you are hearing, oh, the numbers are too small, the country is too small to accommodate 47 counties. The issue was if it was to be modeled to know the financial implication of duplicating government functions from the national government to the county government, when we knew that the issue was taking resources to the people, taking services to the people, the problem was that we are putting too much weight on lawyers being even given the de facto right to only be the only persons who can chair or run some functions. I think there should be a balance, because the Kenyan problem is not majorly economic, it's not majorly constitutional. The Kenyan problem currently is economic. In fact, without economics, without money, you can't even implement the constitution. We need enough money. We need people who understand how economy should run. And if we don't get that, does not happen. And in the same highlight, the issue of rights and freedom given to politicians. Politicians in the constitution has been expanded rights and privileges and freedom. And somebody's cheating people that the more freedom you give somebody, the better. No. These things of freedom that has been stated so much in the US Constitution, in the European Constitution, but even in Kenyan Constitution, in Africa as a whole, there's a lot of misguided feeling about it, because when you give too much freedom and too much right to a few people, and then you do not care about the other persons, then what happens is that freedom for a wolf actually is death for the sheep. And currently, politicians have rights that you can't imagine. Somebody is a president, he can do anything he wants, and he has all the rights to do them. And there's nothing citizens can do. The same thing to those governors. You can name them, all other leaders. People have rights you cannot check. So expanded rights for a few people, that's politicians, but squeezed majority of Kenyans will never balance things, because the country is suffering seriously from inequality. If you are an economist, you know the Gini coefficient. I'm sure Professor Naitule Gitela will tell you Gini coefficient for Kenya is terrible. There are just a very few rich people, and very desperate Kenyans. So we would just actually urge that this misconception of freedom to some people, too much rights to some people, is diminishing rights for other people. And if you look at the constitutional amendment, when I end, I want to land, Jabal. I don't agree with Raila at all on trying to amend the constitution. I don't agree with Ruto on trying to amend the constitution. First, to amend the constitution of Kenya to oversee it, people must trust you. And this government lost trust long time ago. You cannot trust those two people, Raila Odinga and William Ruto, to oversee an implementation or even review of the constitution. Either they resign and we form a transition government, or they just go home in 2027 to get another administration that can be trusted, even with changing a letter. Because I can tell you, NADCO was not implemented because there were some things in NADCO which needed a referendum. Now they want to cheat Kenyans that they want us to go to a referendum to really reduce the counties. When that time comes, they'll insist again those counties remain, and then they'll slip through what was in article in that amendment. Mark my word, that's what will happen. If it happens, my dear, if that referendum ever happened, they want to bring those things they could not do in NADCO because they are fearing if they ask for constitutional amendment according to NADCO, Kenyans will protest and go to the streets. But now they want to tell Kenyans that we are doing it because of you. Counties are too much for you. CDF is not working for you. Those things will not be done. What will be done is what they want. We know these people, the two brothers that they are. They are good brothers to each other, but they're not good brothers to Kenya. So, according to me, they cannot be allowed to amend the constitution. They cannot be trusted. They should just finish their work and come and ask for legitimacy from people. Secondly, I'm also thinking that they can pass some amendments in that constitution that might even extend the terms of the current president. They might even say to us that some of those things passed in the constitution cannot be implemented in good time to have the election in 2027 so that they can extend their term. Kenyans are tired. Kenyans just want leadership that will deliver to them. And I want to end by saying, for those of us who are here, talking here, intellectualism here might not help. Myself, I'm looking for Kenyans who can come and support an idea that can be able to transform this country. I believe that I have some of those ideas. I would like to merge them with some of the ideas you have so that we can consolidate Kenya in ways in which we cannot even get it wrong anymore. But for now, over and out. Thank you very much, Debal. I don't think I'll stay much longer because it's been a very long journey. And I think that when you arrive home and you continue talking on the phone, you know we might be fired. And I don't want one term at home. I just want to have my second term. Over and out, whatever. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Maybe there could be questions. You can just hang on a bit before.